either way, but it works even better in the current market. Problems with buyers in today's market is that banks have tightened up, people are saving less, there's less lending from the banks, okay, lower loan to value ratio. So that means the banks used to lend what, 90, 100% 5-10 years ago, and now they're cut back to like 80%. You know, most of the banks only lend no more than 80% nowadays. Higher interest rates, that's sort of killing people a bit. So if there's no money down, where does the money come from? Buyer? Yeah? Who else? The banks? Yeah. Seller? That's it. That's good. You guys done this? So you can get other investors, private lending. Okay, that's the one always I got started. You can get some private lending from other people if you don't have a deposit. Okay, so and you can get from the seller, where you actually get a seller who will vendor finance you to get in. Okay, you can get it from another buyer. Okay, which I'm going to show you some examples. So why would you, as the investor, want to buy property with none of your own cash? Can you think of some reasons?
It's convenient.
What?
It's convenient.
It's convenient, yeah.
You've misplaced your bag of $300,000.
Yeah. That's it. You missed it. You missed out on Taslotto. What else?
No limit to how many you can do.
Oh, that's right.
You have more freedom. You don't have to put your money down. So you have more money in your pocket.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. You can also save cash to do other deals, right? So you can do unlimited deals. Some people want to save cash to use for other investments, okay? And some people want to save cash to use for holidays, for recreation purposes. Some just want to use, don't want to spend much cash to, just don't have cash to start with, some people, okay? Like Richard Branson, okay? Now, yeah, so these are some reasons. And you got to consider, who knows what an opportunity cost is? What's the definition of opportunity cost? Who's heard of the term? Yeah. So what it is what's costing you opportunity. Say you've got $10,000 to invest, okay, and you put your $10,000 in a savings account, and you're getting 2% return on that. There's another return here which probably give you 30% return. Okay. Now, if you've been presented with that, and you know that if there's, like, let's just say all risks and everything is considered equal, then your 30,000, like your $10,000, why aren't you putting your money into your 30% return, and why are you parking your money in 2%? So in effect, it's actually costing you 28% in opportunity, because you missed out on the opportunity, on 28% of return. Does that make sense? Yes. Sure? Because I've seen people blank. Yeah? Everyone got that? So if you've been presented, if you're never presented opportunity, that's fine. Like if you only know one way of investing, and it's putting money into a 2% return. Okay, fair enough. You haven't missed out. But if you've been presented a couple of other opportunities, and there's much higher return, and let's just say you evaluate it and there's no risk, or the risk is pretty equal, then if you don't put your money in the higher return, then you missed out on an opportunity. Okay, that's what's called opportunity cost. So what I'm saying is, sometimes you might want to save your cash put your cash on higher return stuff. So there's two categories of my strategies with the no money down stuff. Okay, so no money down strategies. The first category, which is what we'll cover today, is at some point you get a property with no money down, but you do take ownership of the property at some point, which means you actually own the title, even if it's just temporarily. Okay, which I'm going to show you what I mean in a minute. So you sign a contract, somehow the title will go through you, and then be passed on to somebody else. So you actually do own it, even if it's just for a minute or so. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Okay, so that's one first category. Number two is that you take control, but you never own it. Okay, so you don't actually sign a contract to buy. So the title never actually goes into your name. And that's what I'll be covering tomorrow. Everyone got that? Okay, let's talk about the first part, the first category, okay? That's with ownership at some point, okay? So category one, like once again, is you take ownership at some point of the transaction, okay? I mean, it'll become more clear to you as I go through the strategies. So strategy number one, it's called a flip with double settlement, okay? What it is you basically secure a property at a lower price and you sell it to the next person at a higher price. Okay, so you get a motivated seller. I'm going to show you an example in a minute. You get a motivated seller who sells you the property at a huge discount, and then you buy at a low price, you sell at a high price, and then you settle simultaneously. Okay, so you sign a contract. You know how there's like 30-day, 60-day settlement. Okay, so during the settlement time, you found a buyer and you sign another contract with another buyer, and then you actually the settlement date is the same day, so everyone settles simultaneously. Does that make sense? Yeah. I'm showing you an example. This is a property in Dandenong. The seller, this property is valued at $270,000. The seller actually was really in distress. I went to see the seller, and he was like, I was talking to his wife was pulling out the rings out of her jewelry box, and she said, "I've got to sell this ring to make my next repayment to the bank." So that was how bad it was. And she's like, and I said, "How come you haven't sold it through the advertiser to sell through the agent?" And she said, "Oh, we didn't want the neighbours to know." So that we're selling. So she said, "We just want to sell and then just get out." And you know, they're willing to take $210,000 for this property. So I said, "Okay, right." So we bought it for $210. We signed a contract for $210. We then sold it to an investor for $250. Now, has the investor also got a good deal?
Yes.
Yeah. So I allowed the next person. You always allow the next person a good deal as well. Okay. But how much have I made? Well, there's also stamp duty on top of my $210. So I said about $10,000 stamp duty and legal fees. So I made about $30,000. Okay. And then we settled on the same day. Okay. So that's just. So he's $250,000. So what happens at settlement is that my lawyer and the seller's lawyer and the investor's lawyers sit around the table and they look at this contract and say, okay, which check goes to who? Does that make sense? So they go, okay, well, this guy's got a contract for this person for $210, and this guy's got a contract with this person for $250. So then they just work it out, and then this means that $30,000, the stamp duty goes to the State Revenue Office, and then the $30,000 come to me.
So do you pay stamp duty on that twice? Do you pay one?
Yes, I got to pay stamp duty because I bought it.
Yeah.
The investors got to pay stamp duty because they bought it from me as well. Okay. So the investor will pay $250 on my contract, yeah, and I got to pay plus stamps, and I got to pay stamps on the $210. Okay.
The government wins.
Yeah. The government. So, can you see that I don't have to put any money into it?
Yeah.
All right. Because can you see that I didn't have to get bank finance? Because I'm not holding this one. This is just a cash strategy, yeah? So if you made $30,000 in one go like that, how much time can you take off? Maybe a couple of months. If you blow it quick. All right. So everyone got that one? Yep. My total deposit is $30,000 cash. Strategy number 2 is when the vendor actually finances your deposit. Okay. So I remember this is about buying property, no money down. So I had a vendor. For example, I would buy a property, but I don't want to pay the full deposit. I don't have any money for deposit. I want to save my deposit. So I said to the vendor, well, can I pay you the deposit, the 20%, by installments? Okay, so I don't have to come up with a huge chunk of money to buy the property. Okay. So the way it works is that you will have. This is also called a second mortgage. Okay, what it is that you'll borrow first mortgage from your bank, and the seller will have second mortgage loan. Is loaning you a second mortgage. Does that make sense? I'll just, for some people who may be a little bit new to this, I just want to quickly show you a diagram. So when you buy a property.